Okay, so last couple of sessions, we've been talking about the sufferings and then uh, how the sufferings described by Krishna. The suffering is the yogakshema, where we get attached to something and then we spend our whole life because of that attachment, whether we have to handle it or we suffer because we lose it. But either way, the attachment to that object, person, or situation brings the suffering. And all that suffering is because of original yoga kshema. And the kshema is all the results of that connection. Meaning that if connection was not there in the first place, we would be free. So that is called the suffering of sansar. Since the time we are born, we've been running after different objects and people and situations and things like that. And our whole life goes thinking that we have something to gain from that sansar. But obviously we come empty-handed and we leave empty-handed. And we really, truthfully speaking, most of the people on their deathbed feel that they did not achieve anything. So that's why the path of adhyatma, the path of spirituality, takes you into that depth where the amrit is flowing. Amrit is the nectar of life. That life is what creates this life that we call life, from birth to death. And to us, that's all we know, because we can perceive it through our five senses. But beyond that, we don't know anything. That's why the depth is necessary. And that's why the path of adhyatma is to take you into those depths. So this is where we are, again, continuing our discussions. So that Krishna described the sufferings, that how the objects lure you into with the promise of giving you the pleasure, and then it really doesn't until your buddhi, the intellect, gets destroyed, and you really do not remain a human being anymore. You almost become an animal, tied to a post, just like a cow keeps on rotating the same circles, when it's really the oil maker is using the cow to just go around in circles. This is how our life has become. And that's why we keep on coming in this sansar again and again and again, like Kolu ke bell, so we never really wake up. So the whole idea of these discussions is to wake us up. So we talked about the solution offered by Nachiket, which was that if you, in your life, you will always have two choices, good and pleasant. Good will not be pleasant, and the pleasant will not be good. If you keep on selecting pleasant, then you become the victim of Lord Death. So that was a very simplistic and practical way of looking at life. Every time you come across a situation, realize, always pick up the good over the pleasant. So that was a very good, beautiful explanation given by Katha Upanishad. So now we're talking about Patanjali. The Patanjali, most of the people, as you know, is known for his 8 steps of to the samadhi, where it starts with yam and niyam and asanas and pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, samadhi. But many people do not have access or haven't read the book of Patanjali, the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali, which is a very profound book. And it's a very fascinating book. Again, Patanjali does not believe in anything, side cuts or stories or nothing like that. He puts the facts right in front of you. And if you understand, it can make your life really well. So according to Patanjali, he basically analyzes the whole suffering in a very anatomical way. And then he believes that knowing your analysis of your suffering itself should enlighten you, should make you go on the path of enlightenment. So when we make mistakes, most of the times we don't even know we are making mistakes. So Patanjali is making you aware where you're making mistake. And that's why he describes this analysis, the whole anatomy of your suffering, which is very good. So step by step, he describes how you are suffering. And he puts the causes of suffering as the poisons. He calls it kleshas. Klesha means poison in Sanskrit. So there are 5 kleshas that he describes, which has polluted our innermost treasure, innermost nectar of life, innermost nectar of immortality that is hidden within us, but it has been polluted by the poison. Meditation is not much different than, the Samudra Manthan, how the story of Samudra Manthan goes. When the Samudra was stirred, the poison came out, and Shiva took that poison for the benefit of the mankind, and then little by little, the Amrit started flowing. So meditation is just like going through these several layers of our personalities. Our outside involvement in the sansar gets reflected onto our thoughts and beliefs and convictions and tendencies, and all those things gonna come in the way. These are the poisons. Believe it or not, these are the poisons. And once you realize where the nectar is, where the amrut is, then you will realize these were the poisons. These are the poisons which make yours and my life suffer. And these poisons are described by Patanjali in 5 different kleshas. So first klesha is, he describes as abhinivesh. Abhinivesh means literally in English is lust for life. That we are attached to this life so much, that life that is lived in sansar, we continuously running towards it. We have become addicted to sansar. Anytime, anything we want, we go to sansar. Whether we want money, we want fame, we want recognition, we want objects of pleasures, we want to smoke, we want to drink, we want to entertain. For everything, sansar has been providing all the needs that we have. That's what we have done so far. So that is called abhinivesh. And because of that attachment to the sansar, attachment to the life that we call life between birth and death, death becomes like a taboo. We don't even think about it, that it will come. We are so busy enjoying this sansar and making us life worthwhile that we hate death. So death becomes an abhorrent towards in our mind. We don't want to think about it. We don't even want to know about it. And supposing it does come, it's a major, major debacle for us. So, and that arises, we don't realize, from abhinivesh. Abhinivesh is tremendous lust for life, tremendous lust for sansar, so because this is all we know. We don't know anything else. And this is the cause of our total dependence on the sansar. Sansar is like our pacifier. If you're lonely, you find a friend. If you're lonely, you go for entertainment. If you're lonely, you read a book. You never feel that even by yourself, you are sufficient. Why? Because sansar has always trained you, molded you in such a way that you cannot do without sansar. So we have become addicted to the sansar. That's our pacifier. Whenever we cry, we want sansar. We don't like this weather, we want better sansar, better weather, all these things, but all from sansar. The physical world and the amalgamation of the human society, animals, everything combined, we run after those things for our pleasures. So he says that that's the number one poison that has been present in our minds, lust for life. And why do we have lust for life? Because of 2 reasons, rag and dvesh. Rag is also a poison, and dvesh is also a poison. Most of the people says, dvesh we can understand. People had invested in stock, money disappeared overnight, and now you're suffering. So that's understandable that sansar gave you that poison, right? No. Try to analyze. If the same stock market had done very well, that would have turned into rag, because now you are so lifted up by your winning that you would continue to keep investing more and more, and then you will keep try to keep getting more and more pleasure. Of course, it doesn't last long, so someday it's going to turn into dvesh. So dvesh is a reflection of your underlying rag. So rag is ultimately your attachment to your victories, and dvesh is, of course, getting attached to your failures, but failures would not mean anything if you never wanted to be victorious in the first place. If you had remained in a steady state, and there is a third state, where you could just watch the whole sansar and not get involved, that doesn't mean you don't work. You work. But whatever comes, it comes. And whatever doesn't, it doesn't. So in that case, whatever comes would not make you tremendously happy so that you can keep getting more, getting back to the sansar more and more to get more and more. And that's why if that doesn't happen, that dvesh also would not happen. You lose, you lose. You win, you win. So winning and losing both will be of no material, of no matter to you. So that's why Mahavir has used the beautiful words. He calls rag, yes, we understand, and vairag means there is nothing in sansar. Let me walk away. But you don't realize that when you're walking towards, it is sansar. When you're walking away from, is also sansar. So whether you're walking towards or walking away, for both of these people, sansar is somehow in the center. So the rag is going around the sansar, and dvesh is also going around sansar. So that's why, beautifully speaking, Patanjali calls both as poisons. Your attachments, because you are winning, whether it's an object or a person or a situation or a fame or recognition, money, whatever, and you're getting those pleasures, he calls them poisons. And of course, when you are suffering, you're not getting what you wanted, it's also poison because it's poisoning your mind. But we don't realize that right in the center of both is the sansar itself. But sansar has nothing to do with your rag and dvesh. It's you who are creating rag and dvesh. A dollar bill does not come written with a pleasure or grief on it. It's up to you. If you have like $10,000 and you want $12,000, that 10,000, you're $2,000 short. But if you have $10,000 and you want only $8,000, you have $2,000 extra, you're happy. So same $10,000 can make somebody very happy and make somebody very unhappy. So the objects, people, or situations have nothing to do with this rag and dvesh. It's our own creations. How much value we attach to it, that's where it decides whether the sansar is poison for us or not. So all these are taking you further deep inside, that why do you have rag and dvesh, and which actually makes you go towards the sansar, creating abhinivesh. So Mahavir has a beautiful word called vitrag. It's not rag, it's not vairag. You do not run towards the sansar, of course. You do not run away from sansar either. You stay in the state of vitrag, samatva. Whatever happens in sansar is fine. And it's a very difficult state to achieve because of our old vrittis and vasanas we've been really gathering all along. And that's why all these things, sufferings happen, because we cannot control ourselves. And as soon as something good happens, we get elated, we get happy. And the next thing we know, it gets out of our life, we get upset. So rag and dvesh, both are the poisons. And we have to realize that both of those are existing in our mind because of the value we have attached to these objects and peoples and situation. A big diamond, a Kohinoor diamond sitting on the road has no value by itself. It doesn't even know its own value until we put the value to it. If we put the value to Kohinoor, then Kohinoor becomes priceless. But if the same Kohinoors were growing on a tree all over the world, nobody would even talk about Kohinoor. So it all depends about what is your insertion, what is your application of your own importance to all these things is what decides. And that's very individual. Somebody may care for cigarettes, other one doesn't. Somebody cares about drinking, other one doesn't. So all these values which are attached at the mind level. So rag and dvesh are the cause of our suffering. They are our poisons because it leads to abhinivesh. But why do we have rag and dvesh? Patanjali says it is because of the fourth poison. It's called asmita. Asmi means I amness. Asmita in a very subtle way is ego. When you really transcend a lot of thoughts, a lot of beliefs, and you keep going further up and up and up and deeper and deeper and deeper, the last thing which will still stay is that I exist. And that I is the ego, asmita. And that ego is a poison. Patanjali calls it a poison because it leads to all the other poisons. Because ego is very individual. Everybody's ego is different. Your ego is different than mine. Mine is different than somebody else, because everybody, and we can know that. We know that because everybody's likes and dislikes are different. Everybody's rag and dvesh is different. Everybody does not react exactly the same way in all situations. There may be tons of Reese's Pieces peanut butter cup sitting there. If somebody doesn't care for it, no, he won't even move. And most of the other people will just grab on it. So everybody has different sets of rag and dvesh, because we have a different set of ego, which has been trained, which has been created over many, many, many lives. But Patanjali calls it poison. So he analyzes all the way up to this level, to your ego. And he says, what is the cause of this asmita? Asmi means I am, I amness, asmita. What is the cause of asmita is, the biggest secret he gives out is avidya. You don't know who you are. And that is the biggest poison in our consciousness. If the consciousness exactly can be reached, and the consciousness comes out of this illusion of illusory sansar, that sansar is the only source of pleasure, then, and this is not just in talking, this is in actually understanding and deeper, deeper, deeper realization that, okay, sansar is nothing. It's nothing for me. It can never, has not never given me anything that is worthwhile. It cannot give me anything worthwhile right now, and it's never gonna give me anything worthwhile. That kind of inner strong understanding gets settled. That's real realization. Then the consciousness rests within itself. That is vidya. Then consciousness knows what it is. Until then, it keeps on attaching itself and identify itself with the ego. And then ego, of course, rag and dvesh and abhinivesh, and all this circle starts. So Patanjali has given us a beautiful explanation. The rest is up to us what to do. So the cause of the whole thing is avidya, which is our first poison. So all we need to do is, through meditation, we need to know ourselves. That's all, nothing else. And who would not want to know themselves? So that's the ultimate question that everybody should have in their minds on the path of Adhyatma, that who am I? And once that question gets answered by your own inner psyche, the antahkarana, your antahkarana, your inner psyche, when it answers to you that, okay, you are not this, you are not this, you are not this, but you are the consciousness. That's when your journey ends and you remain steady in your consciousness, and the vidya comes out from within. Then avidya disappears. Now you know that you are consciousness, the amrit, the immortality is your nature. The rest can come and go. So this, with this background, we're gonna do the Tummo meditation, and we're gonna realize that awareness has gone through all these steps. The only thing is that we were not aware of that awareness during each and every step. So we're gonna go through this again, first finger and the thumb on and Vajrasan, and the standard instructions. Take a deep breath, hold it, bend your head, lift your rectal muscles up, imagine a small fire on Muladhara, hold your breath, push it down, contract all the muscles, and breathe. Watch the flow. Take a deep breath. Relax. Lift your head up. Watch the flow of the energy rising through the spinal cord to the sasar. Take a deep breath. So you are at the Muladhar, your life has begun, obviously without knowing who you are. All the life journeys start in Agnan, because if the Gnani has reached to the Gnan, why would he have desired the body? But we all did. Desires exist only because of avidya, lack of knowledge of the self. So this is where we all start our journey. We rise higher to Manipur, Swadhisthana, 4 fingers below the navel. Fire is rising. Take a deep breath. And relax. Once we have settled down, we get bigger. Our mind develops. Our intelligence develops. We start interacting with the worlds, objects, people, situation. We are running towards the sansar. We are expressing our first poison, abhinivesh, lust for life. We all did. We experimented different objects, different people, different situations, different products of the sansar, getting recognized, feeling bad if we didn't get recognized. We run the lottery. If we won, we were happy. If we didn't win, we were unhappy. We played in casinos. We won and we were happy. Rag dvesh continuously were baffling us. Not all our desires got fulfilled. A lot of desire remained unfulfilled. We let them go, but we kept on trying. Take a deep breath. And relax. Watch the flow. Watch the energy. Deep breath, Swadhisthana. And relax. Watch the flow towards the skull, rising higher. At this point, this is all we know. We were suffering, but we had no idea that we were suffering. We kept on trying. We utilized the time and the resources. All our hard money we invested, hard earned life that we lived. We even neglected the families. And instead of doing that, we kept on running and running, more running, more running, as if that was the atmosphere. Everybody was running. So we felt we should run too. We never thought that there is another option. We never even knew, we never had a time to analyze our rag and dvesh. And this was all unnecessary talks for us. So a lot of scriptures came and left. A lot of saints came in our life and we didn't pay attention. We were too busy running. A couple of words here and there fell on our ears, but they had no value. We laughed at those people. Take a deep breath. And relax. Blood is flowing, body is invigorated. A lot of chances we had to come across and analyze this. It's not that knowledge is not there. We were not there when the knowledge came. Multiple lives passed. I'm sure we saw Mahavir. I'm sure we saw Buddha, Krishna, Jesus. A lot of saints, holy people came and left. Enlightened people came and left. Could not shake us. this is the time to wake up now. Take a deep breath. We rise higher to Manipur. Fire is rising. Manipur is where assimilation, utilization of prana, and nutrition gets fire. It gets turned into physical and mental energy to perform all the tasks. We created a lot of schemes to reach where we want to reach. We were hooked on the goals. Whoever come in between, we became angry. That's how we learned how to get angry. Greed was already there because we already won a few times. Now we want more. So mad, moh, krodh, maya, all these were derivatives of only one thing, abhinivesh. Our lust for the life was so strong, even the violence could easily sneak in our minds. Yes, people told us to be non-violent, but you could not see why the violence is so bad. People carry out a lot of violence, not just physical, mental. At the thought level, even a lot of violences are committed every single day, whether they become manifest or not. Mahavir says, Man, Vachan, Kaya. At three levels, at your thoughts level, also violence can play a role. Why? Only because of one thing, because person or a situation came in between, became a roadblock for you to connect to your desired goal. The Abhinivesh was so much alive that gave rise to all these things. Mad, Moh, Krodh, Maya. And all those kasais took deep seat within our mind. So we never knew that this is the mechanism, this is the anatomy, and we did not have time. We kept on running. Manipur again, take a deep breath. Steady. Let's go to Anahat. Anahat is the heart center where we are enjoying life. We are connecting with the people, objects, and situations that we have earned, that we think they are mine. We never realize the presence of this ego, that I amness, until somebody makes you realize. Some spiritual lecture, some spiritual discussion makes you realize that there is ego, and ego is the cause of our suffering. Everyone has ego. Everyone has a different set of possessions to define ego. My house, my car, my speech, my likes, my dislikes, my people. All these things became yours, even though there was no established connection. You just believed it to be yours, including your body, which was dissolving right in front of your eyes, but your eyes were closed. You were so set in your beliefs that this is how it is and this is normal. And that's the most unfortunate part of our life. But Guru comes and wakes you up that this is all false. In the beginning, we don't even accept it. But somewhere along the line, it sounds a little bit logical, a little bit meaningful. Then we start going within. Until then, we remain at Swadhisthana, keep on connecting with the people, objects, and situations that we have in our lives. Take a deep breath. And relax. Somewhere along the line, we rise to the Vishuddha Chakra at the throat level, where our regrets of the past, anxieties of the future, attachment to the present, this somehow start becoming very clear to you. that this is the cause of my suffering. There is something else that I can do. Instead of this running, my ego keeps on collecting from the past, feels neglected, feels regretted, and keeps on worrying about the future because I have attachment to this sansar. What else is there? What is the reason why am I so attached? Why do I have abhinivesh? Why do I have rag and dvesh? And that's when you start realizing that asmita, the I amness, is not the only life. If you go beyond, then the ego seems to be the main cause of your suffering, the asmita. And that's when the intuition starts coming in, that there is something else beyond this. So we rise to the Vishuddha chakra. Fire is rising. Take a deep breath. And relax. Stay steady. Keep your eyes closed. Remain awake and alert. The awareness is the only instrument you have that makes you realize this running is not worth it. And ultimately, what do I get in life? And whatever I do get, do I take it with me? No. Then what is the cause of this running and suffering? But what else do you do? There is some intuition comes and tells you, and you start following that intuition. You were lucky that you followed. This takes you into this realm of awareness only. Awareness is neutral, whether you are aware of rag in your mind or dvesh in your mind. The awareness is ultimate destination. Buddha calls it paramita. It's like standing on the river of samsara, but you are on the river bank and you become par from this river. Paramita. It's a beautiful word given by Buddha. So your journey now starts into this awareness, which is totally unknown territory, because your known territory that included ego, likes, dislikes, rag, dvesh, and the sansara, and your abhinivesh. This was the prison you were locked in. Now the awareness is here to set you free. You got to hold on to this silk thread of awareness. Awareness is neutral. It's aware of everything, as if you are on a river bank and watching the wild river of samsara. So remember the word paramita. We go higher. Stay at the Vishuddha chakra. One more. Take a deep breath. And relax. Stay higher, as elevated as possible. Keep awareness on your whole life that you passed. There is nothing you can do, but the present is here. The only present tense is the awareness. Awareness does not get old. Awareness does not have a past. Awareness does not have a future. Awareness is the present. The present is the reality. Past and the future are imaginations. They existed at one time, but they don't exist right now. In the present tense, only now is there. Power of now. That's where you need to expand. Just stay steady in the present without getting attached to anything. Now your paramita, it comes in handy. You keep walking backwards within your mind, away from your mind, away from your rag, away from the dvesh, and away from samsara. Within yourself. Physically, doesn't make sense. Mentally, yes. Paramita. Take a deep breath. So you are walking away into the awareness. What are you walking away from? From the whole sansar. Not just that, your likes and dislikes also, and also your asmita, the ego. You are walking away from it. You have realized the futility of this ego, because ego always makes you run towards the sansar, because this is all it knows, because it is avidya, lack of knowledge of who you are. So parmita will make you travel further, deeper and deeper and deeper. You rise to the Agnya Chakra, in between the eyebrows. The fire is rising. Take a deep breath. Now you're getting settled into the awareness, the consciousness, the formless consciousness. Now you know it does exist. This is where all the other centers work properly, because you have found a way out of this chakra of samsara, the wheel of samsara. Take a deep breath. And relax. Watch the energy rising. Watch the blood flow. Last one. Take a deep breath. You are at Agnya Chakra in total command. Now you are synchronizing with the higher self. You rise to the Sasar, above the crown chakra, out of the body. The body is burning. All your connections have dissolved. Now you have realized that all that was a mistake because of the ego. Now there is another beautiful word that comes in handy in Adhyatma sadhana. It is called Salinta. Both that word was given by Mahavir and Buddha, both Salinta. Just like we were Tallin, that everybody understands. When you listen to somebody's music and you become Tallin, you lose yourself, you forget about yourself, you become Tallin. So Tallin is when you get one, engrossed totally with anything from samsara. But Salinta is becoming one with the consciousness. Now you are at Sahasrara Chakra. You have reached there. You have realized you are the consciousness. You become one, totally synchronized with the consciousness. This is what Patanjali calls Vidya. Your whole life was avidya. Take a deep breath. Relax. Remain totally serene with the beautiful, all-powerful, infinite consciousness, which is omnipotent, omnipresent, formless consciousness, but full of awareness, full of existence. There is no ego anymore. Who was that holding the ego? We don't know. It all dissolved like a dream. The only reality is the consciousness. Take a deep breath. Relax. Just remain conscious. Enjoy its vast existence. Total bliss, total tranquility. Remain serene. Deep breath. And relax. You have gone through the Samudra Manthan, all the poisons described by Patanjali. You passed. You passed your Abhinivesh. Now you realize Abhinivesh was foolishness. Rag, to call something and attach to it, the rag was foolishness because it led to dvesh also. And all that was stored under asmita, which is dissolved now. You are merging with one solid, non-dual consciousness. And that's what you are. You are the nectar of life. You are the Amrut. You have transcended the poisons. Patanjali did his job, and we thank him with the bottom of our heart. Enjoy your life.